Would you not think yourself fortunate to have a secretary of great ability and worth, absolutely subject day and night to your will, and so susceptible to instructions that even your slightest mental suggestion would be faithfully carried out? If you had such a secretary, and knew that in spite of his great ability he would be able to do what you suggested only in proportion to your belief in his power to do so, would you not be careful to entertain no doubts of his ability to carry out your wishes or suggestions? Now, just substitute for this personal secretary your subconscious self, that part of you which is below the threshold of your consciousness, and try to realize that this self is actually the sort of secretary I have endeavored to describe, capable of carrying out all your desires, of executing all your purposes, of realizing your ambitions, to the exact extent of your belief in its powers, and you will get some idea of what it can accomplish for you. This secretary is closer to you than your breath, nearer than your heartbeat, a faithful servant, walking by your side all through life, to execute your faintest wish, to carry out your desires, to help you to achieve your aims. Every bit of help, of encouragement, of support you give to this other self will add the magnificence, the splendor of your destiny. On the other hand, all negative, vicious thoughts, all selfishness, greed and envy, all doubts and fears, all the discouraging, destructive thoughts you entertain, will impair and weaken your secretary or servant in exact proportion to their intensity and persistency. In fact, it rests with yourself whether your secretary shall be your greatest help, a heavenly friend and assistant, or your greatest hindrance, your worst enemy. It doesn't matter what we call them, subconscious and conscious self, or subjective and objective mind. We are all conscious that these are two forces constantly at work in us. One commands and the other obeys. We know that one of these, the subjective mind, does not originate its acts, but gets its instruction from the objective mind, which contains the willpower. Experience shows us that the subjective or subconscious mind, which I have called a personal secretary, is a servant which obeys our will, carries out our wishes, and registers in the brain a faithful record not only of every thought, word, and act of ours, but of everything we see and everything we hear others say. Numerous instances might be cited to show that our subconscious mind is the record storehouse of all that has ever happened to us. Every thought, every experience, whatever passes before the eye, or that we see or hear or feel is registered accurately in our brain by our subconscious mind. Now, if this other self, personal secretary, subconscious mind, or whatever we choose to call it, has such enormous power, why can it not be trained to work for us when we are asleep as well as when we are awake? Have you ever thought of the possibilities of spiritual and mental development during sleep? Has it ever occurred to you that while the process of repair and upbuilding are proceeding normally in the body, the mind also may be expanding, the soul as well as the body may be growing? One of the deepest mysteries of nature's processes is that of putting a part of the brain and nervous system, and most of the mental faculties which were in use during the day, under the sweet ether of sleep while she repairs and rejuvenates every cell and every tissue, but at the same time keeping in the most active condition a great many of the bodily processes and even certain of the mental and creative faculties. These are awake and alert all the time while the sleeper is in a state of unconsciousness. Most of us probably have had the experience of dropping to sleep at night discouraged because we could not solve some vexing problem to our satisfaction. It may have been one in mathematics during our school days, or later on, a weightier one in business or professional life, and behold, in the morning, without any conscious effort on our part, the problem was solved, all its intricacies were unraveled, and what had so puzzled us the night before was perfectly clear when we woke up in the morning. Our conscious, objective self did not enter the mysterious laboratory where the miracle was wrought. We do not know how it was wrought. We only know it was done somehow, without our knowledge, while we slept. Again and again we have puzzled our brains at night, trying to think of some particular thing which has gone out of our memory, only to find it waiting for us in the morning. We are beginning to realize that all of our experiences during the day, all of our thoughts, emotions, and mental attitudes, the multitude of little things which seem to make but a feeling impression, are not in reality lost. Every day leaves its photographic records on the brain, and these records are never erased or destroyed. They simply drop into the unconscious mind and are ever on call. They may not come at once in response to our summons, but they are still there and are often, many years after they have dropped into the subconscious mind, reproduced with their original vividness. Now, as we have seen, the subconscious mind can perform real work, real service for us. Why should we not use it, especially during sleep? Why should we not avail ourselves of this enormous creative force to strengthen all our powers and possibilities, to piece out, virtually to lengthen our time, our lives? Think of what it would mean to us in a lifetime if we could keep these sleepless creative functions always in superb condition, so that they would go on during the night working out our problems, unraveling our difficulties, carrying forward our plans while we sleep. We have sufficient proof already to show that they do actual constructive work. It is now established beyond a doubt that certain parts of the brain continue active during the night when the rest of it is under the anesthetic of sleep. But we have hardly begun to realize what a tremendous ally this sleepless creative part of the brain can be in our mental development. It is well known that most of the growth of the child, of its skeleton, muscles, nerves, and all of the 12 different kinds of tissues in the body takes place during sleep, that there is comparatively little during the activities of the day. It is not so well understood that our minds also grow during the night, that they develop along the lines of the ideals, thoughts, and emotions with which we feed them before retiring. As a matter of fact, we never awake just the same being as when we went to sleep. We are either better or worse. We changed while we slept. While our senses are wrapped in slumber, the subjective mind is busily at work. It is either building up or tearing down. It is my firm belief that by an intelligent, systematic direction of this sleepless faculty of the brain, we can actually make it create for us along the line of our desires. As it is, most people, by not putting the mind in proper condition before going to sleep, not only do not intelligently use this marvelous creative agency, but they destroy all possibility of beneficial results from its action. It is as necessary to prepare the mind for sleep as it is to prepare the body.